When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Why can't every day be like this? No simple road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
I don't want to have to twist your arm, Apple.
Guess I'm ready. Do I look ready?
No.
Does my hair look okay?
No.
No?
No, you should
All right.
fix it. Everybody could see you.
All right, pause it. I need to go take
Mel
a shower.
looks ready, though. Look at her picking hairs off her mic.
Sometimes when I go close to the mic, I feel like a little tickle, and it's Darwin's hairs that have like attached to the mic that are sticking out.
They like poke in the
Yes.
foam. Yeah, it's weird.
Well, hey, it's Mel.
Hey now, No Simple Road family. What's
It's
up?
Apple.
And it's Aaron, and you're back with us for another edition of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, brought to you in collaboration with Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates.
Melt.
If you need mushroom chocolates,
Split
the place
open and melt.
to go is at Melt Mushrooms on Instagram. Go throw them a follow, shoot them a DM, tell them No Simple Road sent you. They'll send you their menu of 10 different flavors of mushroom chocolate bars, 4 grams of their sacred mushroom blend in every bar, and it's just the perfect little thing.
Yeah,
And you know
and
what?
if you're not a
Yeah.
if you're not a chocolate person, then they also have you covered with 3 flavors of gummies. And then if you're not a candy person at all, then they have capsules.
That's true.
So they got you covered.
They got it.
They do have you covered, and they're doing buy one get one half off.
Ooh.
So go shoot them a DM, tell them No Simple Road sent you. Get your buy one get one half off, and then your world can melt away all the things, or not. Or you could just like eat tiny bits and go to work and be more productive.
Yeah, which I've done that. It's fun. Just
Which
put a
is
little
so
smile
weird.
on your
It's
face, makes
I have
everything a
to
little
say, that's
colorful.
an odd thing coming from the 1980s when mushrooms were what mushrooms were.
I think it's weirder going to work on fucking like some heavy ass prescription meds.
Yeah.
true.
You know, like they're like, don't operate heavy machinery. Don't take this medication because it could kill you. Like
This
there's
one's gonna make your butt
Yeah.
fall off.
God forbid you have a little piece of chocolate and are happier about life.
yeah,
Take it easy.
but a tiny piece of chocolate is weird. Like
Yeah.
get out.
Okay, never mind. I take it all back. I didn't say any of that, everybody. So, yeah, we're back, and we're going to have a special guest here for the weekly rewind with us here in just a little while. We're going to have Blake Boris-Schacter back with us, the owner of the Get Down, the best goddamn venue here in Portland, Oregon. He's
That's
gonna be
right.
joining us in about 15 minutes, but we thought we'd take a moment and relax.
Yeah, before he
Yeah,
got
with
here
all
and
of
just
you.
Well,
let you know how our week was, catch up, like when you get a phone call and you're like, oh, hey, so what's been going on
How you
lately? Yeah. And so Apple, how have you
We've
been lately?
we've been busy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we'll all chime in on that.
Yeah,
but
Apple
I'll-
goes first.
Chime away.
'cause
Apple.
we did these things together. Yeah, we were together, and we went.
Some of them.
Last Sunday night, we went out to McMiniman's Edgefield,
Ooh.
the historic Edgefild, to see Night of Goose.
Can I comment?
An evening.
Can I
with
comment?
Goose.
Yeah, well, in a sec,
Okay.
I'll say because then we're all gonna have comments on both of these, and then we came home, had a little repose on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and then drove down to Eugene to Cuthbert Amphitheater to have another evening with Goose and all of our amazing friends
And the
in
National
Eugene.
Treasures.
And the National Treasures and Dave and Laurel and got to hang
Those
out
are
and
Eugene treasures.
groove down in Eugene. So it's been a lot of go. And then I had to turn around and go back to Eugene for work for 2 days. So
Oh my God.
yeah, a whole lot of driving and fun has been had this week. And I'm glad to have today as a chill day. The only thing we ever had to do is this.
Yeah.
And I always look forward to doing this.
And we're going to do family dinner.
Yeah, family dinner. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my week, and we can come back to
that's pretty much
review
all
on
our
the,
week.
Yeah.
on the gooses.
Minus the traveling back to Eugene. That was all of our week. We all had a pretty packed in week with work and stuff.
I feel like the 2 Goose shows that we just saw, I saw 2 completely different bands. I
Yes.
really do.
We did.
It wasn't. I hate to shit on Edgefield because we've seen some amazing shows there. The cheese shows that we just saw at Edgefield not too long ago. Some of my favorite shows we've been to in a long time. But these shows at Edgefield, man, for whatever reason, like the sound was not right. You could barely feel the music.
And everybody was saying it. So
it felt like the
wasn't just
music
us.
was secondary.
It was turned down.
Yeah,
We're
like-
wondering if they're like keeping
And there was
the
no
decibels, the decibel level down because of neighbors out there or what. But it lent to a whole lot of chatter.
And it
going
seemed
on.
like
Well, it seemed like people weren't engaged because
That's
they're
what I was
like,
gonna say.
like kind of talking or like busy in ways that were not concert busy.
yeah.
And I think everybody's been those shows where with the volume, we're all a bunch of chatterboxes when we go to a show because we're hooking up with all our friends and our crew and hanging out. And if the music doesn't remind us
That there's music
that it's
on.
there, people continue to chatter and drink and just it was
a trip to like
it's weird.
I remember looking out over the crowd a couple of times, like towards the end of the first set before, I think it was before Animals. And like, nobody was dancing. Everybody was just like kind of bobbing and talking to each other. And I was like, this is fucking weird because I wanted to dance. But
I was really into my own
in your
vibe.
own space.
Yeah, I was in my own space and I had my eyes closed a lot. So I was getting it as much as I could. But
you could feel it.
you can sense it around you when people are chattering or like movement that's not
Yeah.
dance. You know what I mean? Like walking back and forth. It's not like
The energy's
dancing.
off.
Yeah, exactly. The energy of the evening was off.
Mm-hmm. And
And they were trying. I feel like
That's what I
Goose
was-
was trying. They
Yep.
were.
Yeah.
They got into some vicious jams that I was all about, but then it didn't really
it
last
reminded
too
me
long.
of like an airplane that didn't have enough fuel to stay in the air.
It was like,
Yeah, it would
Like-
they would try and get a jam going and it would start to lift off and the part where the crowd is supposed to start feeding the band wasn't happening and it was like a basketball when you just like let it go and it doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
Like that was the jam that kept happening.
And
I was like, what the fuck,
But
Portland?
but then like again, there was some moments where it was like so intense and amazing.
That tomorrow never knows.
And then like what happened?
Mm-hmm. And we had some friends because we were over on the side. We had some friends like Connor that were down in the pit, and he was like, "Well, in the pit, it was a different thing. Like the music was
Yeah,
perfectly
clearly.
loud down there, but you shouldn't have to pay to be in the pit to hear the show that you paid to go to."
That's
No.
one thing about Edgefield that has done this year that kind of our one of my friends, we went to see Kurungbin together.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the pit for Kurungbin and there was the extra tier, the extra price or whatever, $20. And he said that for that crowd that it didn't seem the same way because he had the same thing for Goose. And he said it felt much more different. Like it didn't really matter. Everybody was participatory.
That's cool.
And then, but for Goose, for some reason, it just was a little bit off.
Yeah, it was weird. And I remember, like, as we were driving down to Eugene, I was like thinking to myself, was that me? Was that the crowd? Is that Goose? Like, because it was a day later, like
Yeah, trying to make
figure
sense
it out.
of it.
And then we show up at the Cuthbert Amphitheater down in Eugene, which is Eugene is the headiest place on earth. Like Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. Eugene is the headiest place on earth. Like it.
And Cuthbert is Cuthbert is my favorite place in all of Oregon to see a show.
It's really awesome there.
I think any venue that's owned by the Kesey family, you're gonna have a good time.
It's in the middle of a beautiful park. And
it's gorgeous. It's really it's easy to get around. The sound is amazing. The visuals are awesome everywhere. You never even going to the bathroom, even though you're not seeing it. There's
you feel
a
like
vibe.
you're in it.
Yeah, there's a vibe in the whole thing, and it was awesome.
That show was popping the fuck off. Man.
Yeah.
Goose, congratulations, man. You guys, you went deep and you got dark a few times, and that show, that crowd.
I feel like they kept it pretty light, and
there was some moments.
There was some, in my opinion, I am
You're allowed. You can have more allowed to have opinions over here.
I feel as if the crowd was wanting them to get it more, like dancey,
but Eugene won't stop.
Like more, and it seemed like they were bringing it down and being a little bit more like mindful and like thoughtful and.
Oh, there was a couple times I was ready to pop out of my skin, man.
But it was like, come on, let's get this going.
I think that like being in Eugene too, several of the people we were commenting on, like, oh, okay, they're slow rolling it at first, waiting for all the heady people to kick in.
Yeah.
To whatever, because they did like the first three were kind of slow and stuff. And then by the time they got to Butterflies, the fourth song.
Oh, yeah.
Started to kick in more. And they did W.S. Walcott Medicine Show, the band cover, and then Butter Rum.
That Butter Rum was smoking. If you get a chance, go listen to that Butter Rum.
And then they come out for the seconds, and the second set was amazing. They came out with that Pancakes. It was like a 31-minute Pancakes almost.
They were still being pretty. There was a moment in the second set where they were pretty slow again.
Well, yeah, Tumble was in and out, and then they gave us the Slow Ready, which was really sweet. But it's like I love Slow Ready, but it's like we want a So Ready.
You know what?
No,
like,
I think most people like Slow Ready, but they don't love Slow Ready.
I love it. I love it.
Really?
I think that was fucking dope. Yeah,
it was. It wasn't not dope, but if you're talking about people's opinions, you got to let them get it all out. Like, it wasn't my favorite Goose show. It was an incredible Goose show. It just wasn't as popping.
I think that in order to squash this discussion that we're having right here, Goose should come back and play again. Like really fucking soon.
Yeah.
And then we can all decide.
Look, we're happy when Goose comes out anytime they come out, whether it's Slow Ready or Fast Ready. We're here for it.
And I've loved every Goose show I've gone to, but I think still my favorite though, which surprises me, was
Wonder Ballroom.
For me was late night at when we went to
Cascade?
No.
Peach
Festival.
Oh, yeah.
When they did the late night set after they followed Tab and they came on like 1:30 in the morning and played till like 3 and it was packed. Like nobody went off to camp. Everybody was there and they were amazing.
That was a fun, amazing
I forgot
night.
about that one, Apple. You're right. That definitely, the Wonder Ballroom, I think maybe just because of that whole breathing thing, and it was like the first time we'd seen him. So
that was the first time we saw him was with the breathing thing.
Yeah,
that was the first.
So that's my favorite show because
they did the Ghostbusters
cover.
It was right around Halloween.
Yes,
it was in October.
And hey guys, in Goose, I know y'all listen to this show all the time, every week, and you know you can't.
While you're traveling,
you guys all have a open invitation to come back on No Simple Road anytime you want.
Yeah,
just saying.
Goose. Because we look back with 2019.
We can talk about Slow Ready, Fast Ready, whatever ready you want.
There's a lot that's happened in 5 years since we had them on in 2019, and we're just becoming aware of them.
And it was I remember after that interview, and then we saw them play opening for Pigeons Playing Ping Pong, and I was like, oh, that's
okay. So what do you guys think about the drumming? Because that was the first time we'd seen Goose with the new drummer.
Amazing.
Yep. Cotter, well done, man.
Yeah.
Fucking smoking.
Yeah, that's one thing that Goose has to with the 2-drummer thing and all the percussion going on.
The percussion was awesome on this.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they continue to blow me away at the maturity of the playing for only being a band for 10 years, because they just celebrated their 10th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years.
Only 10 years. And since,
I mean, it's a lot, but not a lot.
Since 2019 is them in their rise.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you have to delete 2 years of that, sort of, because of all the stupid shit that happened.
But that's when they really kind of took off.
Well,
was
yeah,
in
with
that time.
bingo stuff that they did, and the set they did at Peach in 2019, and yeah, it's pretty fucking amazing to be like able to see the rise of a band that hopefully goes the distance like Fish and 40 years or whatever, because this is like seeing Fish in the 90s. We're getting to see that
it's
rise.
like seeing Goose in the 2020s.
It's also like seeing Fish in the 90s.
Fish,
Mel's just contrary today.
no, because Fish didn't know what they were going to be. Now you don't know. You never know.
But I do know now.
They didn't know they were going to need a new drummer, and then they did. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know. This is a solo thing that Goose is doing. Whether their longevity is 40 years, 20 years, 15 years, who knows?
Who knows?
I'm enjoying it while they're here.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think that they should play the Pacific Northwest at least once a quarter so that we can have more, because I get that, the whole back east thing, it's easy to tour and all that stuff, but folks out here want to see stuff.
Too bad.
We really do.
Back east.
Too bad.
No, they need to move out here. It's tough, man.
We need two homes. We need a home on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. We just bounce back and forth.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm down.
And have a big ass motor home to drive back and forth in between.
Let's do it.
Like, what do you call it? Snowbirds.
We'll have Jasper be the driver.
Oh my God.
I was telling you guys the other day, this is the first time in as long as I can remember. I don't even think last winter.
That's not saying a lot. Sometimes
yeah, that's
you can't
true.
remember
Like 2 days
earlier
ago.
in the day.
That we don't have anything on our calendar other than interviews. No shows, no live performances, nothing. Calendar of events on our website is empty. Like, there is nothing cooking.
We've
right
all
now.
needed this.
Yeah.
We have literally all needed this.
Yeah.
There's extra on my plate. There's a lot on both of yours plate. So
Yeah.
we've needed it. We need a little repose.
The only thing that we have coming up that I know for sure that we're all going to is the Sam Grisman shows in November at the Aladdin.
Okay.
Other than that, like,
Yeah.
nada.
Boombox is
breath.
coming.
That's true. Spafford's coming.
Yeah.
Terrapin Flyer's coming. Holly Bowling's coming. So, I mean,
There's stuff. We just haven't.
we haven't locked
we haven't
anything
committed
in.
to anything yet.
But yeah,
We'll see what happens.
you never know. Anything's possible around here. So yeah, that's the long and the short of what's been going on. It is nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's nice to have a minute to like catch our breath and start to plan for the future, because there's a whole new year coming and you're working and doing your thing. And yeah, I want to start doing more on our YouTube channel. By the way, you can go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And yeah, I think Blake is going to be here any second. So you guys want to pause for a second?
And then we'll pause and we'll be back with Blake.
All right. Yeah, we're back. Anyway,
All right.
We're with Blake.
Done.
Blake's here. Blake Boris-Schacter, owner of the Get Down, amazing human being, man of the people. Welcome back.
And so the question is, how does one go about educating people on something, on a concept that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah, I mean, the format is always interesting. Just, you're also even dealing with different people just use different, like right now I'm off social media completely. So
congratulations.
Thank you. So it
that feels so good to hear you say that.
So it happened during my trip that I just took.
Yeah,
so
you actually took a vacation.
I did 3 weeks. I did not check email once.
Wow.
Which was quite amazing.
I bet, man.
One of those things that you kind of talk, like I hadn't done that during the time period that I wasn't working for myself either. You just always have an excuse like, oh, I'll double check it and make sure it's moving or whatnot. But actually separating does have such big mental differences from not doing that.
Yeah.
And so,
You need that, babe.
Make it happen.
All right.
I'm here.
I'm sorry.
but waking up every day with the only intention of what I was thinking, I'd be like, what do I want to do that day?
Oh,
Was a very
I wouldn't even know what to.
Were you by yourself or were you with your partner?
No, so actually, so neither. So Beth couldn't come on this trip, but it was an incredible experience of going to these places with really close friends at each location. So there was basically like 3 parts to the trip. It was the part before this wedding that I went to, the wedding itself. Congratulations, Colin Mandible, and
Congratulations.
then also going to Mexico City with another friend. But the 2 friends that I traveled with before and after are very close friends to this day, but not ones that live here. So getting some incredible quality time of just being able to explore that. But yeah, like being in Barcelona and just not really thinking about anything other than what do I want to see in Barcelona today is a very, very nice, relaxing thing, especially after a lot of.
What's some of those things that you chose to do?
I love food. I love any food location. We went to this amazing spot that was recommended. There's so many places that you get recommended in a place like Barcelona.
Right.
But this was like a friend of my friend who loves food, and he asked, what's the one place? I said, this place. So we went, seafood restaurant, right on the water, had really cool, like kind of ship decor and stuff. But the thing that really set this particular meal to a next level, like it was probably a pretty heavy scale, because I, again, like to eat at a lot of different places and all that. This is a very, very good 8 out of 10, but it was a 10 out of 10 meal because of an experience of the waiter. And we talked about this when it comes to your, like a Michelin starred place is amazing. You're going to get this kind of group. We're taking care of, like the second you get up, they fold your napkin and stuff. But that's never one person. It can't be. Like you can't have that type of oversight. But with the thing of those places that you don't get is that one person that's just absolutely crushing it from a hospitality perspective. And so our guy was Serge, and Serge just immediately, he made us feel that he had it handled. Like by the end of us ordering, it was just, what do you think is the best wine? What do you think is the best food? We trust this person. And that experience, you just don't, that one-on-one, you really get a different level. I kind of like sitting at a bar at a really nice cocktail place for a similar thing, because they kind of get to know you, and then you start kind of customizing, and you really do get an elevated experience.
Wow. And being in another country and it's just a different feeling altogether too.
Yeah, well, and without the pressure, like you were saying about any email bullshit, so you're already in a more relaxed state to begin with.
Food tastes better. It's
I bet you don't have that ulcer in your stomach.
I have to ask, like, people talk about taking breaks like that, media breaks or whatever. You took a 3-week break from your responsibility, right? And in theory, what that's supposed to do is energize you to come back and get back into the thing. Did it do that?
Absolutely.
100%. Really?
Yeah, absolutely 100%. I mean, part of that, did I feel that way necessarily about my corporate job? Like, no.
That's why I asked.
Like that's part of it.
That's 2 separate answers, right?
It's 2 completely separate answers, right? Like I'm coming back very excited about one half, and the other half I'm coming back and it's a part of it, and that's okay because it pays the bills and those are important.
Yeah.
But in the end, it really was this great reset for the Get Down specifically, because it let me come back and feel recharged and kind of ready to take on these problems that might have been there for a while, but coming back that they're not weighing on me the entire time. So the ability feels a little more fresh and a little bit more easy, and somewhat opened my mind somewhat on maybe how to solve a couple things.
Really? Okay. Cause you're not in it so much. You have distance and space to be able to think around something, and
time. Yeah. Cause the thing is, like, just because I didn't check email, it doesn't mean I wasn't thinking about things. And generally what you might be thinking about is some sort of big problem that might have been sitting there for a while, or something that just needs solving, that if you're not dealing with a constant influx of emails or interactions that are pulling your brain away at different times, and I'm ADHD as well, and that's that makes it a lot easier when those smaller things get taken off the plate to be able to solve the bigger ones.
Oh my
gosh, it's got to feel good too to be able to know you can step away for 3 weeks and everything's still
you have a team.
Everything's still going. Your team's
it's not nothing's on fire,
Well, and that's the thing, is I trust the people that, especially like the key people on my team.
That's not always easy to do, Blake.
No, I am so thankful for that.
Super fortunate.
Because if I didn't trust, it's escalation, right? Like, that my corporate job was under very strict instructions to absolutely not contact me for any reason. There was nothing that was going to explode that they couldn't somehow solve, or I'll solve when I get back.
Right.
That was not the message that I left with my team at the countdown. If something needed my attention, I wanted to know about it. Even if it's something that might just, if it didn't get my attention for too long, could become more of a problem than it might be if I could just answer something quickly. Yeah. So I got probably 3 phone calls, 2 texts the entire time.
Wow.
But they were all correct. They were all good reasons to reach out.
Yeah, you would have done it as well. You would have reached out for those reasons as well.
I would have wanted, to be reached out about those. And the team, it's not just, especially, and this is why I think it's just absolutely so important to retain staff, especially, good staff, but trust gets built over time. People skills is not just, how they interact with customers. It's how I interact with my people and how they interact with me. And trust gets built in a way that, like, I knew without a doubt that if I had something to worry about, they would have let me know about it. So it relaxes my brain as well to know. Because the first couple times that I left, it just wasn't there yet. I wasn't there yet. The space wasn't there yet. When I went to Chris Hallen's wedding, like, it was too early to leave. So I was worried about it the entire time. It was great to be there, but it was during a really, really rough time period. Yeah. So that's not relaxing. This was the first really relaxing vacation that I was able to really take to completely unplug. And that
since you opened the venue,
since pre-COVID, because I went from COVID pretty much directly into it. Dude. So I had smaller stuff and a lot of the things, like, Jam Cruise is really fun, but I also need to be on in a different way, especially now.
That's not relaxing necessarily.
Right. And then I went to my dad's, went to Jamaica for my dad's 40th. It was a great 4 days, but I was still checking everything. I was working during the day and stuff like that. This was really the first one that I went, but I also felt before going the importance of doing it. Like, I felt the weight of, I'd been running at too high of a speed for too long. And it's not necessarily that I'm going to drop balls, but I know that over time, there might be stuff that I would have done better. Or again, the bigger problems or things that I want to fix. There was only one way to be able to do that. And that was a real step away. So it was a real conscious decision. And I do think that it felt like it paid off in the immediate. And I know that the long-term, obviously, health benefits that everyone always talks about, but it's very hard to do. Definitely. I felt those.
I know for me, I get in the work mode of doing the tasks of what it takes to get this done. And you get in that routine of doing it. And it seems like time just flies by and there's no space to think of anything new because you're just doing the things to make it happen. And there's no extra space to innovate anything to come up. So I think you're right. I think it would be really helpful.
The key thing that you said is relaxation. There is something about being and trust. Those two things are A and B right next to each other. You have to be able to relax enough to get new creative ideas, to get re-stimulated about old ones, to even when you eat, they say to sit down and relax, right? And enjoy your meal. It helps with assimilation, your digestion. Mm-hmm. So all this stuff that you guys have been doing, all of us, not just you guys, but all of us have been doing double jobs, freaking partners, freaking trips, all this stuff. And when are we really digesting it? Assimilating the blessings, the disappointments, the stress. We don't. And so we're eating more, doing more, but not necessarily getting out more and integrating. And that relaxation is so key. It's one of the things that it's one of my things that I love to help people reach and achieve is that relaxation to just let their body feel like an anchor. And then anything else can happen after that. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. If we reach that, and so you did that with your life, that's a wonderful thing to do, Blake. Congratulations on giving that gift to yourself.
Huge milestone.
Yeah,
to be able to
that's
get
a personal
there
achievement.
And be able to do that. And
Yeah.
that's got to be that, like everybody that works with you and for you and stuff. That's got to be huge for them too, to have your back.
Well, I
And-
heard from plenty of people that plenty of people that I worked with when I was leaving, when I said what I was doing and when I came back and said I didn't check email, like, I see people care about it. Like they saw the amount that I was putting in and all of that, like, knowing that I was able to take kind of that breath and that step was something that they were happy for. And it also, I think, or hopefully that they also feel that what it is, which it's a showcase of how I feel about the team and what a great job that they've been able to do and how confident that I am in that place's ability to run, not just run, but run at the, it's my baby, but I want it to run at the level of excellence that I hope that it always does. And I, don't have to see it to know that it's doing that with this team.
And we're in a weird time in Portland right now. Since you talked to us,
which was January, back in January.
We decided, let's come back on. Some stuff has been announced here in Portland that's really heavy kind of shit, man. Do you want to talk? Are you cool to talk about this stuff?
Absolutely.
So what I'm referring to, for everybody that doesn't live here and know what the hell I'm talking about, Live Nation is trying to open a venue here.
Well,
right?
did they? I thought they got the green light, or are they still getting,
if there's
enough pushback?
If working with the city has taught us anything, it's that any green light can also be a red one. There are doors that close in. It's like I believe
Blake.
it when the construction starts. It's certainly getting pushed in a direction that makes it seem like that is certainly possible. It doesn't seem to be getting blocked, at least at this juncture yet.
Okay, so let's start right there just before we go into what it means.
Mm-hmm.
What can those of us that give a shit do about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as any type of government change type of circumstance, find the places that I know Music Portland's doing a good job at covering this. But in general, I do recommend trying to pay attention to the local sources on what's happening. If there do happen to be able to be any more, town halls or things like that, that's great. And the whole writing to your congressman, it is like election year type of stuff. You can put on more pressure now than you normally could. And it's certainly possible to do something along those lines. If you feel really passionately towards it. I personally, the new venues are in the end good things to happen. The source of venues do matter though. And, certainly don't kid yourself in terms of how landscapes can change when big guys do come into play. But that being said, it's still certainly the most incredible independent music area that you're going to find, and still will continue to do that. But, if you do feel passionately about the subject, certainly can recommend trying to be as vocal about it as possible before things get finalized.
So what does it mean for places like the Get Down when somebody like Live Nation moves into a city?
So with Live Nation in particular, it doesn't mean a ton at this particular phase. Like a 4,000 cap room or 3,500 or whatever this one might be, will only add to people's knowledge of the city and increase the amount of touring that comes through it.
Mm-hmm.
What that might mean for the landscape of promoters in town probably matters faster than for the landscape of venues. But
why is that?
Because they can. I have to be careful with words.
Yeah. I gotcha.
So they can put more pressure quicker on something that they don't need a physical building for. So they can book in 5 rooms while only owning 1. And so it's a much faster thing to build that way. Generally, when it comes to Live Nation and Ticketmaster, they tend to concentrate only on their rooms. They tend to only concentrate on rooms 2,000 or up, depending on the market and the quality of the room or history of the room, etc. So the chance that it would affect my room, at least in any really strong, permanent, like obvious sense would probably take a pretty long time and take a lot of different types of construction, etc. Whereas the landscape of independently owned and operated, not just music venues, but promoters, that can affect things, especially at the largest level, right? Like, so promoters for the most part are going to, they're going to book really small rooms. And then the idea is when they break artists that they roll up with them, at least in their subsector area of town.
Okay.
And the concern is when the big guys come in, at some level, all these artists are forced to move to these other promoters or choose to based off of cost. So this is a tale as old as time when it comes to the promotion industry. But essentially, like, that's the concern, is that, you know, if you build someone up from, you know, Jack London all the way to the Moda Center, by the time you hit, you know, anything above the Rev Hall size or something along those lines, that it could be taken away because there's bigger promoters that are in town. So that can be the kind of big concern. And again, I don't run a production company or promotion company, so I certainly don't want to speak to the more inner workings, but that's my general understanding, and a very logical one that makes a lot of sense on why there would be a lot of concern there. But the long term, like, you know, Live Nation, at least at the Get Down size, just, they don't really build stuff my size. They don't really try to open things my size. The mid-size stuff tends to stay, and small tend to stay independent because they're just not, the margins are just totally
not worth
different once
it.
you get to those sizes.
So what's considered like Live Nation size, like 3,500 and above?
If it's a brand new room, they probably wouldn't bother with something too much smaller. But traditionally, especially when they weren't necessarily like building them from scratch and more like towards the buying process, you know, something in the 2,000, 2,500 and up. Basically, the House of Blues size and bigger, essentially, if you were to think of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that one company can have that kind of an impact moving in to a city's music space. I mean, especially with a city like Portland, there's so many rooms of so many different sizes, right? And I saw the reaction of the music community here immediately when this happened. It was like, nope, let's do everything we can to make it not happen. And it's a trip to see it happening. And I know that you've had dreams of doing stuff yourself, so it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, this size that they're trying to bring in. Are you guys aware of the second one as well?
No.
Okay, so
what?
There's a second thing happening, which is getting a lot less press because it's not considered in the same category for some people. Obviously, like, Live Nation has a certain reputation.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with AEG?
Yeah.
Okay, so AEG, also Axis, for those who know, is basically this. It's the second biggest promoter and venue owner. Came out of Denver. They announced a partnership with Monquis to open up a 4,250 person venue at the old location of what Live Nation was trying to do, the Lloyd Center. I do not know why Live Nation had been rumored for, I'm sure you guys were aware, rumored forever to try to get something done at the Lloyd Center. I do not know what stopped that from happening. I don't know if it's the exact same section of the Lloyd Center. I will say this. The Lloyd Center makes a lot more sense to me as a location for this. This location is past the train tracks. I don't know what they're going to do when a train tries to go through there and a concert's letting out. Like, it's just,
wow.
It's on the other side. It's at the waterfront. It's crazy. There's not enough parking. Like, Lloyd Center makes sense for something this big.
Yeah.
Like, you can totally do that. I don't know why it fell through. And again, it sounds like, I don't know how far along the Axis Monquis collaboration project is. Some people, I think, feel differently about AEG versus Live Nation. They are the two biggest, as I said, but of course, Live Nation being a little bit different in how people feel, and also obviously been along and affected things for a little bit longer. But the partnership with Monquis is nice. It obviously showcases a local, flavor and element to it. AEG also created, I have not been there yet, I am going in November, but AEG also created one of the best live venues in the country with the Mission Ball.
I think it was Howlin'. that told me that is his favorite place to see concerts.
Every single person that I know that lives in Denver, whose opinion I trust, has said this, and so I'm going to go out for the Kitchen Dwellers Dale Donato run out there.
Ooh.
So
Wow,
That's
that's
a
going to
good
be
pick.
awesome.
yeah, very very excited for that. So that should be great. But I've just heard that the room's just amazing, and so like in the end, like, you know, say what you want about big corporations or people that, you know, there's different obviously tactics or whatnot, but like as someone that's just a huge fan of good venues and seeing music in great places, I have not heard a word bad about the Mission Ballroom.
Mm-mm.
And so what I've heard that the project, you know, could be like, or what I guess it's going to be like, is going to be something like a Mission Ballroom for Portland. And we really do need that.
So let me
Yes.
ask you a question.
I will second that for sure.
About that size of venue. So 4,000, 4,500. As it stands right now, what bands would that bring here? Like, what would that do for Portland?
Yeah, I mean, brand new venues tend to excite a lot of people.
Okay.
I think that if you were to just look, I mean, Denver's so crazy because it's the center of the country and they just get freaking everything. But, you know, if you look at their lineups and then you look at, you know, what we tend to have coming through, you'll probably see some different gaps that they have there. Now, obviously it's a different touring area and all of that, but, you know, in terms of the places that like that people that would do multi-night big runs, like, you know, we have some stuff that plays at Roseland that might like play at this, but they're more likely to maybe do multi-night runs or something along those lines.
Like a couple nights of Dark Star at this.
Right.
Okay.
Totally. And again, like it's just going to be more that, like right now, just we have nothing in between. I mean, it's crazy. We have 1,500 person or 5,600 ish for Crystal, depending on what they do with that. And then you have,
I didn't realize that was that many for Crystal.
1,500?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
well, again, I don't know what gets in there, but you know,
That's what says they're
like
capped.
more, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
let's just
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
We're moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So, but then you have an arena, and in between that, you have outdoor venues,
Yeah.
or you have outdoor venues, or you have non-GA venues like, you know, the Schnitz.
Okay. Like concert halls.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm working on right now for this other project that I'm thinking about doing is I'm doing and this is actually a really cool service. Anyone that wants to start a business that needs market research, this is really cool. So the score advisor that I have, essentially that's like through the SBA, they'll kind of put you with a mentor, and he's a professor, and he is able to, through the SBA, I'm not sure how much this works for other places. I think it's an SBA program, but I'm not 100% sure if it's just based off of this particular location, but they partner with a university who has stat students that need to do research papers. So I gave them all of the qualifiers of, hey, I want to know how many cities, you know, have this many, you know, this many GA venues of this size, et cetera, so that I can then utilize that information for market research.
Engage the
in a
nerds.
business. Exactly. So I don't know the answer to this, but my general feeling is that we have a very weird exception here where we have this huge gap between sizes for our population and the age of people and the music going population versus the venues that we do have. So again, while someone coming in that maybe or entity coming in that some people certainly don't like and feel passionate about, you know, we have been lacking this type of thing for a long time. I mean, you ask anyone in this town,
It's been needing to
what
happen.
we need, right? Exactly. It's just, you know, an unfortunate way that might need to go to get there for some people, but you know, certainly something that, again, in the end for music in Portland, I think in the long term will be a good thing for getting more and bigger acts here. If it's a good thing in general for the ecosystem is a different, you know, question.
Can I ask about like what happens on a Tuesday night for them or a Thursday, or you know what I mean? Like
That's a good question.
We were talking that you can't pull those kind of numbers on a 7-day basis. That is incredible.
Yeah. So one of the things that that they do now that is for new builds, they'll do this, is subdividable spaces. So you'll have the option of smaller shows, And you'll also, maybe think out a little bit more about that multi-use option within the space.
Conventions or something.
Or even a bar.
Totally. And restaurant or, hotel type.
Like
thing.
Cervantes' other side, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I got it. Okay.
So what's cool though, with setting it up that way is, you get to bring in a lot of different stuff. But the other main thing is specific to the Get Down. I mean, there are again, don't have the stats in front of me, but 450 cap venues are not 12,000 square feet. They're just not. Like I have a unique problem where I have all this space and therefore, I have rent that is according to that. Right. And so while it has a lot of amazing features because of that, it becomes a little bit harder and therefore I need to work a little bit harder for it. Now that's also why I think it's a uniquely good setup space for private events as well. And something that, that's why I clean it as much as I do and making sure that it can be utilized in that other type of way to try to offset it so that I can do the best possible concert experience as possible. If I can pay for that with, corporate and, wedding receptions and stuff like that, that's great. I want the top concert experience that I can get, which of course includes making sure that everyone has a good amount of space. But when it comes to these bigger spaces, I mean, maybe they double or triple my, security costs. They have, a monitor tech. They have a couple other, additional things. But overall, I mean, if you 5X just straight up the amount of people that are coming through, you're not 5Xing your expenses by any means.
Oh, okay.
This size.
The only thing that gets 5X is the rent.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
Well, not at the Get Down. 5X of a standard one, then yes.
Right.
But so, I mean, even building something would be like 3X. It's not going to be as big as that. And that's building it from scratch, which shows you just how ridiculous the whole thing just ends up being. But, that's just part of the thing is the Get Down just doesn't have that much usable space in terms of like maximizing the amount of people you could have in there.
Right. Yeah.
But it's also one of the reasons that it's so special.
So
yeah. Sometimes you need to get
badass.
away and that's the perfect space to do that. Like, I just want to get out of there for a second. Come back in feeling refreshed. Like, it's a beautiful,
Very unique.
Yeah.
And
great.
You made me
space.
think of something, Blake, that I've never really thought of in terms of this stuff is that like, if I'm an up and coming band that is packing a 450 or 1,500 room in Portland, right? Let's say I can sell out
The Crystal.
I have nowhere locally to grow.
Correct.
I'm done. I have to leave Portland to grow bigger.
Correct.
And that's fucked.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm from here.
Or play only in summer.
Yeah.
Because that's it.
Edgefield.
We gain too. I mean, Pioneer Square.
Yeah.
And,
That's right.
and also Grand Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both in that mid range, but they're and of course Edgefield, but they're only over the summer. It's not, and that's obviously the worst touring time period that you can tour. So it's because of music festivals, right? So
yeah.
So everyone's doing fly-ins. You're utilizing backlined equipment, so they're not even touring with their stuff. And then there's all these huge radius clauses, so you can't even play while you're doing it. So summer's a particularly terrible time period for indoor venues because they really can't get anything. And when they do get stuff, people are normally doing other things.
Right. It's
Wow.
I never even thought about that. Like a band like somebody local. Yeah, I'll just say the Garcia Birthday Band that could they can sell out a room here. They have to play multi-nights.
Well, even Modest Mouse coming up, they're doing 3 nights at Rev Hall. And that's where
Wow.
And that's great because that's where they should be playing in terms of the options, in my opinion, just from a sound and environment perspective. But at the same time, like, should that really be necessary for them to need to do that? Like, should they be able to play something of a slightly different size? And, multi-night runs for bands that are playing bigger or could play bigger rooms are essentially my bread and butter. So don't get me wrong here.
Yeah, let's keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love being a multi-night run with a band that's going to sell out every night. Like that's amazing and very much treasure those. But at the same time, like trying to convince agents that that's a good idea is a lot harder than trying to convince, bands that love the room. And in the end, the agents are the ones that are making those decisions.
Yeah.
And so, not having those rooms, and like, yeah, you can say a multi-night, but then they're losing multiple other cities to go to. And so that's why when you look at the Pacific Northwest in general, stuff's gotten skipped on big tours more than you might see it, because we just don't have logical routing for certain sizes unless they're willing to just come all the way from San Francisco just to go to Seattle.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That's a long ride.
Even Billy
Yeah.
Strings, like he just did the Gorge, didn't come through here. You know what I mean? He can fill the Moda Center, but
They might not have venues big enough for him if he continues at this rate.
shit, man.
Like I saw him at 2 nights at Rev Hall, and he was just suddenly playing 2 nights at the Moda the next time he came. It's crazy.
No, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like he's a whole.
He's blessed.
And hey,
Like,
by the
he's
way,
gifted.
Billy and Allie, congratulations.
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
If you happen to be listening to this, congratulations to you too. He just had like the craziest day of his life yesterday or Friday or whatever, man. Like released his album, shows up at his festival, getting ready to take the stage. His wife's water breaks. He has to jump on a jet and fly back to Michigan for the birth of his baby and leave the festival that he's thrown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's classy.
This morning, the little tidbit too, that's a Ringo Starr let him use his private jet
To get home.
to get out of there. So
Somebody in the comments said that was the second coolest thing Ringo Starr ever did. But yeah, I mean, you get a band that's really starting to come up here locally, and they get hamstringed and having to go outside their hometown market where they've built a following for years and years. And so are you thinking of taking this challenge on?
Yeah, I mean, there's my intention has always been to produce additional spaces. I think that there's a lot of joy in building rooms that would not normally exist that I can just enjoy from just a music aficionado. And then there's also the side that I just feel that there's just so much more that can be done, like in general, for improving something that obviously I love so much. But that growth and that sizing and wherever to put what is constantly evolving. I think one of the things with the Live Nation thing, it definitely showcases that. I am still very confident that even with a 4,000 person or 4,000 person rooms coming in, there's still a pretty big gap.
Yeah, that's 2,000 people, man.
In my opinion, there's a pretty big gap. And so, I definitely have hopes for continuing to do stuff in the Portland area to continue to hopefully add more and more joy and live music here for sure.
I think that it bodes well if you did something like that, because I know that the bands that we've spoken to that come through the Get Down, it's their favorite room to play because of the sound in that room. So I know that like
and that back room is great. That dressing room is huge.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so being able to take all of the lessons that you've learned with the Get Down, because you took your lumps, you know what I mean? And now to be able to scale that bodes well for us.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, man. I mean, the sound in that room is second to none.
I was hanging out with Steve, my lead sound engineer at Cascade. He does the Shook Twins and also did the Shook Twins John Craigie collab as well. And we just both were just like kind of gushing to each other about how proud we each were just about that room, and specifically like the sound that's in there every time we hear it. We just had the Headhunters, and it was the day before Cascade, and Herbie's old touring tech was there. So like 25-year like touring tech who had
Herbie Hancock's man.
There's some story. I've read Herbie's biography. I'm obsessed with Herbie Hancock. So I knew this person in the Herbie lore. And
right.
He was sitting at the VIP booth with the Sold Out Productions who was playing on the show. And I wasn't there for this, but apparently he said, "Hey, this room sounds really good in here."
Ooh.
And that's just such a,
Heck
it's
yeah.
such a beautiful thing. And it did. It's a really beautiful, beautiful thing for sure.
That's who you want compliments from, is somebody like that,
Yes,
for
yes.
sure. So as far as the Get Down goes, Blake, what are you excited about right now with the Get Down?
Well, our New Year's show, I, worked really, really hard for, and I'm just so excited about. I probably couldn't talk about this last time when I was on here, that show. So, we have DJ Shadow and Cut Chemist, and it's a really unique show for a couple of reasons. One, it's his first New Year's show in 10 years, Shadow. And the second one is he hasn't played a venue my size in over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
He just sold out Rev Hall on a Monday was the last thing that he was here. And
Dang.
he
I
also
know
could play bigger rooms, so to speak. Yeah.
Right.
But he hadn't been here for 8 years when he did that. And it was literally from stage that he was just like, man, it would be, this is amazing. Like, I'd love to come back. I turned to Josh. I'm like, we should see if we can get something to work. And then the next time that I had Cut here, I had him a couple weeks after that. And we were just chatting late night, and I was just like, well, what would it take to get Shadow? And he's like, man, it's tough to get. You have to work for it. And, we did. It was a lot of effort. Josh Pollock did an amazing job with getting him. And, it was super, super exciting to be able to announce that show and make it happen. And it's very unique. It's, it's not, something that's going to happen very much, and I want it to, because I'm asking a lot from people I know from a cost perspective, because it's a guy who can sell at Rev Hall on a Monday and someone who sold out the Get Down the last couple times as the opener. So it's, it is what it is. Again, we deal with agents and they're going to get what they're going to need. But at the same time, like, to be able to have that in like an intimate type of environment is just something I'm so, so excited about.
Can you explain for the folks that don't know what Cut Chemist does? Because you explained it to me and I was like, holy shit.
Well, so Cut Chemist in general, I mean, he's a scratcher, he's a producer. He was the one of the members of Jurassic 5. He's been in the game for a really long time. I think what I was describing to you was the 45 set that he did. Yeah. So the thing that I loved about the 45 set was he brought, just for people that know, 45s are very small records. They have like 1 or 2 tracks per side, and they're utilized a lot in kind of live vinyl kind of scratching, just with the sizing and stuff. It's easier to kind of find where your groove is. And so a 45 set is where you only play stuff off of 45 albums. And so he brought a selection, and then he's kind of going through these, and it was during the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And so he would kind of like be like, okay, like, here's this single, like, I bought it at this location, like, it's gonna be this track, and it's some like throwback hip hop track. And there's like, and then here is the DJ Shadow remix that I also have. And then what he would do is take the song, and it would be the same song on both 45s, but one with like a remix. And then he'd kind of scratch in between the two of them.
Oh,
kind
wow.
of remix both songs back and forth.
Dang.
Hence the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Wow.
But yeah, I've always scratching as a sound. Everyone has kind of different things that do well for their ears.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love scratching.
Scratch is that part of your brain that nothing else
it's like the
does.
opposite of nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
It's so
Gets
so
in there
nice.
like you get like a dog. It's just like, oh, that's my spot.
Blake's arm shaking.
Kicking my leg.
Well, it's interesting too, that I'm geeky about it. There's like DMC level world champions that are just like incredible. And then there's also some people that are just like really good that have like just a stylistic element. You guys know the word timbre?
Yeah.
So I absolutely love the word timbre. For those that don't know, timbre is just the quality of someone's voice that you like. So if you like someone's timbre, you just like, if you like someone's timbre and they're a singer, their singing just sounds so good to you. It's not the Freddie Mercury on a scale like, oh, they can hit something higher.
It's personal.
It's right. It's this completely subjective word. And so for me, like the timbre of scratching that Cut Chemist uses is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I like
excellent way to say it, Blake.
If you say, I could listen to that person read the phone book, that
Exactly.
you like their timbre. Yeah, man. That's one of the things about the Get Down that is so cool, is like, it's not just jam music coming through there. It's not a metal club. It's not a hip hop club. It's a music venue, and it's everything coming through there. And I think that is indicative of Portland in a lot of ways, is that Portland is a melting pot for all different kinds of music. I know, like in Vegas, there was like a metal club and a hip hop club, and that was all that came through those places. So if you weren't into that music, you never saw that venue. You know what I mean? So you're getting everybody involved and creating community through having the venue.
Well, and shout out to Sold Out and to Josh, and even in Monkey and any outside bookers that do come through. You know, being an open room does help for that as well. And you know, I really do like a lot of different types of music, and I want those showcased in different ways. You know, I think the only genre that like we ever had that like I just kind of noticed just from being around the like reaction was, you know, we had like more of like a kind of metal-ish type of show, and like when we had like punk and stuff like that, you know, I've heard repeatedly just walking around like, man, it's too clean in here. and like, that's totally fair. It's a different type of environment, and that's an understandable thing if you're looking for your dive bar. Like, I love me some dive bars, and that's a totally fair thing to look for in your venues as well.
It's too clean in here.
It's too clean.
It smells nice. It's, You want that
Floor's not
dank.
sticky.
Sometimes you just want that smell of old PBR, and it's a beautiful thing, man. Absolutely.
So, what else you got coming up?
I'm trying. So I'm so much more out of the loop now.
Oh, wow.
Just in terms of the announcements, because I'm not on social anymore. So I'm hesitant.
I got to ask you, as a venue owner,
Yes.
how the hell are you doing that?
Mitch,
You have somebody that handles it.
Yeah.
And
Mitch,
you just don't check.
well, no, yeah, I'm completely off of it. I mean, that was the part that made me need to quit it. Like, if it was just freaking heady wax fiends and just like occasional feed checking, I don't think that I would have felt the need to quit. But when you have a business that you're just, you know, I said before opening, like, man, I'm so glad I'm opening something where I don't have to care about reviews. It's not true. I care about every single one. Now, a lot of them are just laughable and wrong.
Yes.
Like most reviews.
Well, there's basically three things that if you were to take it off, it would be like a 4.9 or 5.0. We have gender neutral bathrooms, which people have opinions on. Shocking.
Both ways, clearly.
We don't allow weed not because we hate these people, as they tend to say online, but because we're not allowed to allow it downstairs. And we have ins and outs. We should be able to figure it out. And then the third one is we don't allow large backpacks, which again, I think it's
Wait a
gonna
minute.
be pretty hard to find.
Why would that
Oh
be
my
a thing in a
gosh.
review that like
they're mad, big mad.
That's like a thing everywhere right now. Like big backpacks or large. Why do you need that? Just
bring a small bag?
Yeah, how
I
much
mean,
stuff
either
do you
way-
need at a show? Like, come on.
Or find a place to put it. It's just they're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And we're like, we don't know, but I
Don't
don't know
bring it. How about that?
It's on the website. It's on the door, but you know, you get the one.
oh my god, so stuff that you can't even do
I
anything
can't believe
about.
I can't
really.
bring my wardrobe in. What is going on here?
What's
Like,
wrong?
Well,
with
then
you?
good job.
Plan
If they
better.
can get you on technicalities and that's all they can get, then fine.
Hey, it's fine. And some people do have legitimate stuff. I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
that's
those
the
are-
main-
but those
that's the main-
three.
the
Yeah.
main circumstance. The one thing that we can't shake. We just got a review about this, so it's on my mind, and we joke about it all the time, and I can't shake it. I will say it again right here on the record, and it will not matter because it's rumors are like wildfire, and it's an incredible thing.
You can't not think about that anymore, right? If somebody accuses you or says something, now he's always the guy that did that thing.
It's crazy that like just to see. I have never once said yes to this. I've
Okay.
always said no. I've known it for sure that it's not. If you really look at the room and really think about it, it's a really bad idea. But we were never a roller rink. We weren't. It was never the case.
Oh my
but
gosh.
we just had another review. Like, it used to be a roller rink. Makes total sense. I'm like,
No,
okay.
it doesn't.
there's pillars and things.
It's at
and-
least multiple times a week that this comes up
Oh
in
my
some form or
gosh.
another, and it's unstoppable.
I thought
It
we
is-
debunked this on our podcast.
Yeah, man. People don't care.
That's why I'm saying I'm going to say it again, because it literally can't stop. But it's
Well, I remember that you told us all about it, and we're like, so it was a roller rink.
it was.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt to get down with roller skates on the.
Yes.
It's perfect.
with a line through it. Yeah. No.
Oh, speaking of, I do need to get you guys some of the new merch.
Hell
I should have
yeah.
brought that.
Speaking of merch, you're wearing a Heady Wax Fiends t-shirt. I have to say, on the record too, thanks for the intro to Chris.
Yes,
Of course.
What a
Yes.
what a fucking amazing, sweet.
You
human
introduced
being.
another brother to
Yeah,
the
man.
family.
That's that's what you gotta do, is introduce good people to good people.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Blake. Yeah, Heady
He's-
Wax Fiends is the shit, and now that I know him, I understand why Heady Wax Fiends is the way it is because of how much he loves that thing, and it totally makes sense, man. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
What didn't we cover that you wanted to cover?
Oh, I didn't really have anything in particular. I guess while we're mentioning Heady Wax Fiends, just that I am so excited about the Polyrhythmics live album that is
So
coming
dope.
out.
Yes.
Could not be more excited. We're about to the point of test pressings and then go into full print. And the album art looks amazing. It's such a really cool process to be a part
That's
of.
awesome.
To be able to like hold it,
Recorded
and listen
live at
to
the
it.
Get Down.
It's
I
gonna
remember the
be
day.
pretty
Yeah.
awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
For all of you listening, Heady Wax Fiends is the dopest fucking record club around. And they happen to be a sponsor of No Simple Road right now. So if you go sign up and you use the promo NSR and you sign up for a 3-month subscription, you get a free album of your choice. And if you sign up for a 6-month, you get 2 free albums. So do the thing. Go over to Heady Wax Fiends and sign up, because this is curated by people that fucking love music and
Yes.
love vinyl and are making it dope for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
They really are.
it's such a really cool, especially seeing how much it affects the direct with band deal type stuff. It's
Right.
just such a cool, like you talked about being able to kind of grow and all of that. Like it's so important to be able to reach different audiences and
Oh my
stuff like that.
gosh.
It's just such a cool effect every time something drops in the group. It is the one thing that I do actively miss about social. Like if I could find some way to only be able to access just that one page, that would be great.
I guess you could just go to the website, but that's not as much
Yeah.
fun.
It's not the
No.
interaction.
No.
It's just not the
Yeah.
same, you know, because it's so much part of it. I mean, I learned even just the Facebook group itself, you just learn so much music. And when you find people that have music taste that you like, you just get used to, oh, I trust this person's opinion. Like
Oh,
yeah.
I have blind bought so many albums off of that. I mean, it's dangerous. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
It will come after a while, like aggressively. We've had multiple circumstances where people are like, oh my God, like I need to like pull back from this like immediately. It's definitely a suck, but it's great.
Yeah. And learning new music from people that you can trust.
That knows your taste.
That's
yeah.
the shit. I mean, in high school, that's how I found out about it. Almost every band I loved was from people that I knew that were like, hey, you need to check out this band.
It was the only way. It was
Yeah.
the main way.
We were totally unfair with this last one too. Like the Polyrhythmics thing, we announced the collab. It just took a while to get all the logistics down, but so we didn't announce it till like a month out. So a lot of people couldn't plan for it. But this next one for volume 2 is we are going to give people the time, and it's going to be a really cool like live meetup overall experience.
Oh, hell yeah.
For
Yes.
Sure. Like we got a lot of feedback of people that are like, hey, we need more than a month to do this, which is a very fair.
That's fair.
reaction.
Exactly.
Very fair.
So Blake, what was the straw that broke the camel's back for the socials?
I was going to ask the same question, Mel.
Yeah. So the travel was, as I said, a very conscious disconnect concept, right? And
Right.
so I was doing that with work. And so what I was doing was I don't normally take many pictures, but when you travel internationally and everyone knows that you're doing it, you're just going to get more grief than it's worth if you don't just snap a couple.
Oh yeah.
I just like my family and good friends and all that. It's just like, it's better to just like at least take like 10 per day or something. Just like to just make sure that it was, and I always enjoy it later, but I also like, I'm one of those people that really likes to just like kind of be in the moment and look at it with my eyes. And so I was doing like a day, like a photo dump of every day. And then I got to day 7 and I was like, you know what? I'm still seeing myself occasionally, checking stuff or whatever. And it's not disconnecting me like completely. So it was really the get down element that made me be like, okay, I need to just like quit for the rest of this trip. Which I did do a post before quitting because I realized that doing, hey, I'm international traveling, hey, day 1 through day 7, and then silence was like
What
probably
happened?
not great.
We've
Yeah,
all
probably
seen
not.
Hostel.
I did get a text from my mom. She did want to double check. It was okay. But it was, from that. And then once I came back, it's like, I just don't want to, I know how that goes as soon as I start even a little bit or one excuse. Like I was going to, someone sent me a link on Facebook Marketplace for $25 Cascade Brewing, unfortunately, is there was ownership. Someone unfortunately, the owner died, and so they're, I think, moving on from that brewery. At least they announced closure.
Okay.
And so someone posted they were selling their heat lamps because they have a huge outdoor patio. And I was like, oh man, like we could use an extra one probably. So I reach out to my house manager, Taylor. I'm like, hey, like, what do you think? He's like, yeah, we could probably use them. Like, okay, great. Like, I don't have Facebook, so you're gonna have to reach out to this person. He's like, I don't have Facebook either. And he's like, he's like, I would rather not have Facebook than have a second patio. And I said, okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Not gonna happen.
I mean, it's got to be good. It's got to be nothing but good for you.
It's just one of those things where, like, if you could only take the good parts of it, it can be great. But it's just not that. And the amount of times we've all felt this, where you just like realize that how much you've been on your phone, not watching either the thing I was trying to watch or paying attention to whatever, or not getting something done. Like, it just, like, if there's good ways of turning off your brain and bad ways. And I have personally felt that, the more time on it, the worse it is. And if it was just a limited amount, or I was better at it, like, and it did feel previously different. And I think people struggle with this in general. I'm sure younger kids do, where it's just like, it has that thing that does to your brain that makes it want that like little bit more.
Feeds
and
it.
It's just,
it's gnarly.
So it's something, I've always been pretty big on trying to really push for, like, the self-control things that I can push for. And this is one that I just feel that, like, it's just better if I just don't.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's fucking cool. That's hard. I mean, I run a business. I know what that means.
Well, and the thing is, though, again, without Mitch, you can't do it. Like I was talking.
Yeah, no, I can't. There's no way I couldn't.
You can't do it, right? It's just not an option. Mm-hmm. And that's what's tough, because, again, you can't just take the things that you want to, not that the business side of the socials are also intense.
I'll tell you what, though, man, for what it's worth, my Instagram feed, for whatever reason, is pretty fucking chill.
Curated. Yeah,
it's so chill. I don't get any of the like crazy political stuff. I'm pretty tame in that sense, but I do that thing that you're talking about. Just one more. And then I'll catch myself and I'm like, the fuck are you doing? What are you scrolling for? What are you looking for? What are you waiting for to hit? Nothing.
It's like the
magic's not going to happen. 9
Vegas.
more. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. And then what are you going to get to the one magic post? You're going to be like, no, like nothing's going to happen.
I won.
Yeah.
Whoa,
no, you didn't. You just
winner.
scrolled for 6 hours. And now you're
I've
drooling.
done that too, where you like swipe and it's like, okay, 3 more. Then you
but that one wasn't good enough.
Then you get a good, yeah. Then it's like, well, I meant 3 more till I hit another good one. Then I went, okay, 3 more. This is all bullshit. And then it does.
It turned us all into
like
junkies.
you were just saying, like I couldn't imagine growing up with that.
Oh my god!
Like these kids nowadays that have it from the time they're
Tell
a
us about it,
child,
Grandpa.
like when they don't have it, they get depressed and withdrawn, and it like feeds them. It's a drug.
Your brain's wired. It's like, here's the iPad, like, just be quiet.
Then little
like,
kids, they start doing it so little, they know it. They know what to do.
I read this. Here, I'm going to be old for a minute. I read this article and it was talking about how, like, giving an iPad to like a 4-year-old to learn ABCs and whatever, that when they're getting into like first grade kindergarten and they have to sit down and write with a pencil, they don't have the muscles formed in their hands to hold the pencil to be able to write because they've been using a tablet only.
And also because they're not playing like with toys that, like.
Man, this world's weird.
It's very weird.
What's
Blake,
going on,
Blake,
man? No.
What do you love right now about the world and what do you hate right now about the world?
Wow.
What I love about the world and what do I hate about the world?
Or dislike.
No, sure. I think that there's probably things I can find to hate.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think that there's stuff that's there. What's the wording that I want for this? I hate the general feeling of walking a path that just continuously just looks like it's not going to make adjustments for just like change in a positive way. But at the same time, making it feel so obvious that things should be thought of things differently by most people, but generally the population tends to have, we tend to have education problems and misinformation, all that type of stuff. And it just seems like there's a lot of things that more and more I'm kind of needing to just relax and like, well, you can't fix it, but if you ever get the opportunity to do so, definitely do. Keep going in the right direction. That's tough.
Yeah.
But I do find myself, if I try to concentrate, and again, this is where like news also gets tough, right?
Yeah.
And like, how much do you want to be informed?
And what does it really do for you?
It's again, like what like that element of not being able to control it. And the annoying thing is, there are people that can control some of this stuff that very actively choose not to. And I don't know, but so that I wouldn't say, I don't know if there's a hate in there or whatever, but that's certainly
what is it? A peach in a pit, like Meg says.
Yeah.
That's your pit. What's your peach?
Yeah. And then something that I love in the world right now. It seems pessimistic, but I just don't have a good one off the top of my head. Coming off of, so I missed international travel so much. And so coming off of that, if you've never done it, I definitely encourage it. It's just to throw yourself in different cultures and environments and challenges, even though it's way easier with Google Translate. Oh my God. I bought some amazing art in Mexico City, and it was this building that just had gorgeous architecture. And I just walked in because I like cool architecture. I was walking around by myself because I had a couple hours to kill while my friend was doing some work. And I was determined to find this mole place that I had been to last time that I was there. But I hadn't written down what it was, but I knew the general area. So I literally just in Google Maps, I was just like, it's a nice day out. I'm just going to walk to every place that has like good mole in this area of Mexico City and try walk in and see if I recognize it. I was unable to find it, but I did in this walk find this beautiful gallery. That's not normally a gallery. It's like an old building that they decided to put a gallery in, and love the art. And so I reached out to the artist because I wanted to buy some and buy multiple of them. And she was younger. She was really excited that I wanted to buy multiple pieces. But very quickly on the phone, it was like, okay, this isn't really going to work. I don't speak that much Spanish. She doesn't speak that much English. And we just switched to WhatsApp and Google Translate and had a whole negotiation, long form back and forth. It's just an incredible tool.
That's so sick.
That's awesome.
That's like the what is it in Star Trek? Shit. All the Trekkies are screaming right now, whatever it is. There's a thing in Star Trek, you could just put it in your ear and you hear
translates everything. Yeah.
That's Babelfish is all.
That's the one from The Hitchhiker's Guide. But that's dope.
It was amazing. It really was. And we had an amazing moment too, just in person. We couldn't say that much to each other when we did meet, but it was clearly a very big purchase for her. Like there was 3 large oil on canvas paintings that I purchased to bring back. And I think it was her first big art, show, or at least
so it's probably very validating.
She seemed very excited. She seemed just very excited by it, but we also got to kind of have an interaction that I think started on, being able to have this conversation back and forth.
Yeah.
So kind of elevated it, and it was really,
That's
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Mel.
Right on.
I know. I'm curious too because I love mole. I'm sure you found some good mole,
mole.
even though you didn't find the place you're looking for.
Yes.
Oh my God, mole. Mm.
The first time that I had it in Mexico City, specifically at this place, it was kind of like the first time I ever had vanilla in France, and like, I get what we're going for. Like that's cute, but no, like you missed. It's kind of like it's like ramen in Tokyo, or like there's just certain things where like the real one is just a different experience.
Yeah.
Not to say the other ones are bad, but to say that this is that much better.
Right. Right.
So I'd say things that I love also mole.
Yeah. What do you love in the world? Mole.
Yeah.
What's your peach and pit, Mel?
Of what?
The world.
The
right
world
now.
right now? Ooh, I didn't expect to
Yeah.
answer
I mean,
my
let's finish with this peach and pit.
Okay.
Thanks, Meg.
I guess my pit is just how, from when you look at real people in everyday life, it looks like one thing versus what you hear on news or social media. So it feels like two different worlds. So I hate that that's what's going on right now. Like two totally different things. And I guess my peach is people. People always amaze me, and especially now that I'm doing, I have my practice and I'm working on people. It's different when you see them like in a retail situation when they have to do chores and tasks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus when they're coming to get relaxed.
Oh yeah, people are chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're still hectic and I have to chill them out.
You bring them down.
Yeah. And so being able to connect with people, that's what I love. There's nothing like connecting with people, going to concerts. You like meet your friends and you see an awesome show together. You connect, like go out to dinner and the waiter's amazing. You connect, like people are awesome.
Apple, peach and pit.
Pit would be politics and the political environment right now.
But why?
So chill, bro.
Because I don't
it's so
care.
rad, dude.
Oh.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just annoying. Everything gets everything gets weird. Peach is fall, and we're heading into the holidays.
Yeah.
This is my favorite time of year when it turns fall up here. Because like we've talked about being in Vegas, we never really got
You don't get to see
a
seasons
fall.
change.
Yeah, you didn't see things change. The temperature just got different for a little bit. But like
Dirt is dirt.
everything's already going yellow, and in the next 2 or 3 weeks,
Yep.
it's going to look
blow
like
up.
the hills are on fire with the reds and oranges. It's just so beautiful, and it's time to turn our attention back towards self-care, home care,
Yes.
family care. I love this time of the year heading into the holidays.
Right on. Okay. Peach would be. I don't want to steal your thunder with yours, but just the division, man. Like, come on, everybody.
I mean, pit.
I was going to say,
yeah,
I think
pit.
That's your pit.
Yeah, pit.
Okay.
It's just stop it. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody, can't we all just
Can't
get
we all
along?
just get along?
We are getting along. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In real life, we're getting along.
I
it's
forget
in other.
what comedian it was. But he said, you watch the news and it's like destruction, fire, war, famine, and then you open your window and you hear crickets chirping and birds singing. It's like, what's really going on, man? But yeah, that.
Maybe both.
And then peach. Why is it harder to find a peach than a pit? New music right now. There's some good new music coming out. If you haven't listened to the new Billy Strings album, oh my God, like holy shit. And this isn't new music, but Jordan from Fire on the Mountain, he turned me on to some like Japanese psychedelia from like 1972. That is just some of the coolest music I've heard in a really long time. And like, especially with, and you'll probably relate to this, especially with like doing a music podcast or owning a venue and you're like inundated with music all the time. You find music you like, but I find that like it's getting harder and harder to find music that really like excites me. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like it. It's, whatever. But like music, I'm like, oh, I want to find out more about that. That was one of those things that like, I was like, holy shit. And then there was one other artist that I want to call out. I hope it's still saved in here, man. Maybe
Grandpa's on his phone.
Jonathan Wilson. If you've all never heard of who Jonathan Wilson is, go check him out. There's an album called Eat the Worm it's on Apple Music. It's really, really good. Like some of the best stuff I've heard in a long time. And and Rose City Band. So new music.
All right.
Yeah,
Peach.
that's a good one.
You know what I really recommend for new music? Owning a music venue. It's really
Yes.
I was going to live vicariously through you, Blake.
Well, if I was just ever getting pessimistic, it's just crazy how much stuff comes through.
That's so awesome.
I mean, like, Buka Shade's one of the best shows that I've ever seen. It's German house, and I'm not a German house person. Like, it's just not my type of thing. And
right.
They just blew me away. And Butcher Brown was incredible. And there's just so much stuff that I just either heard of or wouldn't have heard of, or just just flat out, just so much good stuff. It's just the cycle stuff of getting the same things over and over, hard to break out of. And it's always a beautiful thing to be introduced to new music.
It's the best.
always,
It's such a good feeling. It's like meeting a new friend.
Everlasting Peach on that one.
Yeah.
So like going through the calendar of events at the Get Down, there's your new Spotify playlist for the month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did. We did try doing like kind of a playlist.
Yeah.
For, it's just hard to keep up with. And it
I
wasn't
bet.
getting that much, it's just like, you try things, but it's definitely a good way of.
Introducing the music and all in one spot.
Well, everybody, Blake, thanks, man.
Yes.
This was fun.
Thanks for having me
Every time.
again.
Hey, everybody out there, if you're in the Portland area or thinking of coming here, maybe you could, book your time around a show at the Get Down. I'm telling you, it's different than other venues. It just is. And it's not because Blake is sitting here. It's because the room there's a lot of intention there, and the sound in there is amazing. If you're into the way music sounds when you go see a concert, if that's your thing.
And the space.
Yeah.
Just like you said,
just fucking amazing.
Been there when it's packed and when it's not, and you're always comfortable.
Yep.
You always have room.
Yep.
It is.
And the VIP
amazing.
room is great.
Yep.
And we still have Chicha Morada.
That's right.
Yeah. The best drink in the world.
And the green
Great
room. And the green room has
beverages.
a bidet, which we have not talked
never
to
seen a
anybody
bidet in
that's
a green
played
room.
there and has been like, the place has a bidet, man.
Hey, man.
I want to play there again just because of that, almost.
Cut Chemist did, yeah. He literally came out of the room. He's like, "There's a fucking bidet back there." He's like, "I'm playing here every night."
Hell yeah.
You make people comfortable. Shit.
Yeah, little stuff goes a long way.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. In hospitality, especially, it really goes a long way to notice. Like, just pulled out the chair. Oh, you dropped your napkin. Oh, here's another drink. Like it's
a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, we like to be taken care of.
Yep.
And hey, everybody, we like taking care of you. We're glad we could hang out with you today.
Thanks
We
for
will
hanging.
be back on Friday with something. I don't know.
There'll be
something. I don't. Mel's slacking on the calendar for right now.
I am.
But that's okay. We'll be back on Friday with another interview with an artist. And until then, go to the Patreon and sign up. This does cost $1 a month. Nobody's checking to see if you paid, but go do it. And we love y'all. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hi, this is Henry Kay, host of the #1 music history podcast, Rootsland. Come with me on a journey to Kingston, Jamaica, where we explore the world of reggae music and the untold stories of some of the genre's greatest legends. From the ghettos and tenement yards where the music was born, to the island's iconic recording studios. We are so excited to team up with Osiris Media, the leading storyteller in music, because as you'll hear, sometimes the story is the best song.